and Rose Tattoo, Angry Anderson's Rapsy Snarl, slide guitars, tearing through We Can't Be Beaten. They were the rough end of the stick. Tats, leather, and a vibe that would scare your nan. What made it all click? Well, it wasn't just the music, it was the heart. These songs weren't abstract, they were about real life. Keysan isn't some fantasy, it's a vet back from war, lost in Sydney, and Eagle Rock by Daddy Cool. Yeah, it's goofy, but it's a dance floor call to arms. Hello again now people, what's good? It's me, it's Ted, it's another episode from Blunt Ted Talks Music. Now first of all, thank you very much for clicking on the video. And secondly, thank you very much to all the new subscribers that have come through since the start of the channel. There's been loads of you that absolutely blows me away. If you're not subscribed already, then please hit that button, hit the like button, hit the share button, and leave me a message, let me know what you think of the video. Okay, so let's get into this one. So today we're diving headfirst into the sweaty, beer-drenched chaos of Australian pub rock. This isn't your polished pop or your overproduced stadium stuff. This is raw, loud, and unapologetic rock and roll, born in the sticky back rooms of Aussie pubs. Picture a hot summer night, the air thick with smoke, punters packed shoulder to shoulder with a band cranking riff so loud your schooners vibrating on the bar. That's pub rock. Pure working class magic, straight from the 70s and 80s. It's as Australian as a kangaroo eating a Vegemite sanger at the footy. So grab a cold one, settle in, and let's unpack this wild, noisy beast. How it started, who made it massive, and why it's still kicking. Okay, so let's go. So what the hell is pub rock? It's not about fancy light shows or prog rock solos that last half an hour. It's gritty, no-nonsense rock. Think chunky guitar riffs, pounding drums, and singers who sound like they've been yelling at the bar all night. This was music for the everyday Aussie. Blokes clocking off at the factory, tradies, nurses, teachers, all piling into the local pub to blow off steam. No velvet ropes or VIP lists, just a dodgy stage, a bar tab, and a crowd ready to lose their minds. It's live, it's loud, and it's got soul. Less about studio perfection, more about that electric vibe you only get when the band's feeding off the room. So let's set the scene. How did this even start? Rewind to the late 60s, Australia's pub culture was already huge. Every suburb had its local, a brick box with a bar and a pool table. But live music? That was rare. Liquor laws were strict, bands were stuck playing dry venues like church halls or RSL clubs, which, let's be honest, isn't exactly rock and roll central. Then the rules loosened up. By the early 70s, pubs could host gigs without jumping through legal hoops, and the timing was perfect. Baby boomers were hitting their 20s, wallets full of cash, thirsty for a good time. Pub owners clocked it quick. Stick a band on, even if you're just paying them in free crisps, and the punters will flood in, drinking like it's the last day on earth. Suddenly, every watering hole from Bondi to Bunbury had a stage, and the sound, a mix of hard blues, rowdy rock, and a dash of Aussie swagger. The pioneers kicked it off with a bang. Take Billy Thorpe and the Aztecs. Thorpe was a 60s pop idol, all clean cut and teeny bopper hits, but by 1970 he had flipped the script. He grew his hair, cranked up the amps, and went full rock beast. His album The Hoax Is Over is a monster. Thick riffs, howling vocals, like he's channeling every wild night he'd ever had. Gigs at places like the Bondi Lifesaver were legendary. Punters says you could feel the floor shake. And then there's Buffalo, a Sydney outfit formed in 71. Their debut, Dead Forever, was as heavy as a brick, growling guitars, dark vibes, a slab of proto-metal that set the tone. These guys weren't messing around. They gave pub rock its backbone, proving it could be loud, loose, and still pack a punch. By the mid-70s, the scene was a full-on explosion. Venues became icons. The Station Hotel in Melbourne's Prahran, a sticky dive where you dodge broken glass to get to the bar. The Lark's Pier in Adelaide, salt air, rough crowds, and amps that blow your eardrums. Sydney's Royal Antler, a North Shore haunt where sharp-dressed sharpies mixed with surfers. These weren't just pubs, they were proving grounds. And the crowds? Well, they were feral, but in the best way. In Melbourne, you could have the sharpies, short hair, tattoos, tight pants, looking for a fight or a riff to match their attitude. Sydney had its Westies and Bogans, all denim and mullets, screaming for more. It was hot, it was messy, and it was bloody brilliant. Now let's dig into the heavy hitters. The bands that turned pub rock into a national obsession. AC/DC, absolute kings. Picture Angus Young in his schoolboy kit, duck walking across a tiny stage while Bon Scott growled about jailbreaks and TNT. They cut their teeth in Sydney, dives like the Hampton Court Hotel, rooms so small the sweat would drip off the ceiling. Early shows were pure anarchy, punters climbing speakers, Bon egging them on. They went global, but that pub DNA never left them. Then there's Cold Chisel, Jimmy Barnes, the wild man with a voice like a chainsaw, backed by Ian Moss's silky guitar. Songs like Kisan, A Vietnam Vet's Lamont, or Flame Trees, all small town nostalgia, they're etched into Australia's soul. Their gigs at the Star Hotel in Newcastle were insane. Riots, broken windows, pure Chisel chaos. Funny story time, speaking of Chisel, there's this yarn from '79 at the Manly Vale Hotel. Bonds is mid-set belting out cheap wine when a punter chucks a full beer can at him. Misses, smashes the drum kit, but without missing a beat, Jimmy grabs it, cracks it open and downs it and yells, "The next one better be cold, you mongrel." The crowd lost it and it turned into a chant. That's pub rock, half music, half bloody circus. More legends. The Angels, dark and brooding, with Doc Neeson's eerie stage presence, "Am I ever gonna see your face again?" became an anthem. Punters still scream that famous, well let's call it interactive reply. Their gigs at the Bold-Faced Stag were electric, tight tents like the room might combust. Midnight Oil took its political Peter Garrett, all 7 feet of him flailing like a possessed scarecrow. Beds of Burning started in pubs before it hit the world. A protest song with a pub rock pulse. And Rose Tattoo, Angry Anderson's rapsy snarl, slide guitars, tearing through We Can't Be Beaten. They were the rough end of the stick. Tats, leather, and a vibe that would scare your nan. What made it all click? Well, it wasn't just the music, it was the heart. These songs weren't abstract, they were about real life. Kisan isn't some fantasy, it's a vet back from war, lost in Sydney, and Eagle Rock by Daddy Cool. Yeah, it's goofy, but it's a dance floor call to arms. Pub rock was honest, lyrics about hard yakka, heartbreak, and the odd bender. Bands played like their lives depended on it, feeding off the crowd's energy. No auto-tune, no safety net, just raw guts. And the venues? Tiny, cramped, perfect for that intimacy. You'd feel the bass in your chest and smell the cigarettes on the singer's breath. Another funny story, Rose Tattoo at the Sylvania Hotel, early 80s, angry, mid-bad boy for love, and some bikie in the front row. Big bloke covered in ink decides he's part of the show. Climbs on the stage, grabs the mics, and starts howling. Angry, all 5 foot nothing of him tackles the guy. Full wrestle, mic swinging like a weapon. But the band keeps on playing. Crowds cheering. Bikie ends up crowd surfing back to the bar. Angry dusts off, yells, "Anyone else want to sing?" Classic Tats, no script, just madness. The scene had its quirks too. Sharpies in Melbourne loved bands like the Coloured Bulls, Lobby Lloyd shedding while the crowd threw punches. Up north, Queensland's heat made gigs even wilder. Punters in the singlets, venues like the Playroom in the Gold Coast, a sauna of noise. Tech helped it grow. Countdown on TV gave bands like the Angels a national spotlight, while FM stations like Double J, now Triple J, spun raw cuts. But it never lost that grassroots edge. Records felt like live shows, bottled up and unleashed. So why did it fade? By the late 80s, the golden era started winding down. Grunge hit the 90s, Nirvana and Pearl Jam shifted tastes. Pubs leaned harder into pokies and cheap DJs. Live bands got squeezed out. The old guard aged, Bon Scott passed in 80, Chisel split in 83, then reunited and split again. But pub rock ghosts never left. Modern acts like The Living End or Amor and the Sniffers carry that torch. Fast, loud, and no BS. And the classics? Immortal. Chuck Sweethearts by Cold Chisel or Long Way to the Top by AC/DC on at any pub today. And it's an instant bloke singing, glasses raised, maybe a Dax drop for old time's sake. So pub rock, it's more than genre, it's Australia's heartbeat. The clang of a bar stool, the hum of a busted PA, the roar of a crowd that's half drunk and all in. From Billy Thorpe's riffs to Barnsley's screams, from sweaty dives to global stages, it's a revolution built on grit, grog, and good bloody tunes. Okay, and that's it. That's the end of the video. So yeah, please let me know in the comments what's your favourite from that era. What's your favourite band? What's your favourite song? You can also now become a member on the channel by clicking that join button below. It's $3.99 a month. With that, there's weekly videos, there's emojis, members chats, there's all sorts. Yeah, please consider joining that one. And if you've not subscribed already, then please hit that button, hit the like button, hit the share button. And like I said, leave me a comment, let me know what you think of the video. So that's it. It's been me, Ted. Thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you all later.